Welcome to Animated Portrait using Piskel. In this assignment, you're going to be making a portrait. It can be simple or complex, such as this one, and then have one element that's moving. You can see a little wink happening on this one. Here's another good example. We got a full portrait of just the face, and then we get those eyebrows lifting, and the eye is changing a little bit as well, getting bigger. So we're going to head over to Piskel, which is a free online web-based app, and we're going to click Create Sprite. That's going to take us to our workspace. So in the middle, we've got our page, and that's where we're going to be working, actually drawing. Down here, we've got the color palette, and so we've got that whole rainbow here when you click on it, and then you can pick from the inside color field. We've got a range of tools here. It's pretty simple. There's a few, but we're going to work with the pen, the paint bucket, the eraser perhaps, rectangle maybe, and over here we have the frame. So we're going to create multiple frames by adding new ones or duplicating over here on the side. Next, we're going to look to the right side of this, and we're going to see a preview panel, but then also layers right here. Layers are very useful when you want to isolate one piece and just have it moving while everything else stays still. Let's talk about drawing. So you could start with a circle, for the head, that's a good start. You could also use the pen just to hand draw some of that. And so that works really nicely. Another thing you can do is mirror drawing. And so that's when you draw on one side and it mirrors what you're doing. And you can get some nice symmetrical drawing going on just like you're seeing here. So I'm just gonna restart and just let's try this for real. So I'm gonna drag it down, come into the chin. I'm thinking I'm gonna throw some ears on this face as well. And one thing that you wanna do is corral things. So if I'm gonna go over here, you see how the whole head is closed now? If I wanna color this really quickly, I can go grab the color of the skin that I want. I'm thinking, I don't know, yellow, green, let's go green. And I find the right color, and then I grab the bucket. And when I click the bucket in there, I can just drop color. And it just fills the space. And we've made a lot of progress there. And now I'm looking at the outline and it's black. So I don't know, it's kind of boring. Let's try something just a little different. So I'm gonna keep it on that same green, but it's gonna be dark green. And now I've made the outline a different shade of the green that is the skin color. And I like that. I like that it's a little bit softer. Let's transition to some facial features. I'm gonna start with some eyes. And I'm once again using the mirror drawing because it just makes it, again, quick. If I wanted the eyes a little bit different, I wouldn't, but since they're gonna be the same, this is great. I'm gonna do a mouth, just a simple kind of rectangle mouth, and then I'm thinking probably some hair. So doing it simply here, I'm gonna outline this thing, and instead of doing the green or black, I think the hair is gonna be purple. And so I'm going to do a dark purple outline, and once again using the mirror drawing, so why not? And you can see I drew the head first. I drew the whole head, like all the way up to the top of the skull, because I like to overlap. I'm just going to paint over it anyways, but it helps for me to understand where the head would be, to know where, the hair would stop, because the hair is going to go further. It's going to be higher than the actual head. So sometimes I'll draw a little bit more than I need to and then overlap because it's so easy to put things over top. Once again, I'm gonna use the paint bucket to fill the space. You could see I had to do some of the lines inside of there, and that's okay because they were like little chambers, they were sectioned off, but now it doesn't take very long to color those lines and now it's all looking good. And finally, we're gonna throw some eyebrows on here. That's gonna kind of complete the basics of the face. However, I think the eyebrows are just too tight to the hair and the eyes. There's not enough space. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to color this in. I'm going to color it green skin color and take things down a little bit. And I'm going to recreate the eyes. I'm thinking that I want to use like a rectangle maybe. And so let's just do a shorter rectangle. I want more space in between the hair and the eyes so that there's some room to move. So I'm going to go back, and you can see every time I go into here, I can pick a color, but I can also see the history of the colors. So if you're looking next time, the color history is there. I'm going to add a little bit of light green, super light green for the eyes, the whites of the eyes, and then I'm going to throw a nose on there with a little bit of white too. I think that looks good. Okay, so now let's finish up with some eyebrows. Eyebrows get a little room to move. I'm going to keep them straight at this point, and those are looking good. Okay, so the face is complete, but I think I'd like to add a little bit more into the hair because it looks very plain. So I just want to fill this little gap up here. And then I'm thinking of just adding a little bit of texture, maybe just so you can see like there's a bit of a wave, maybe a bit of a curl in the hair. This is just adding a little bit of appeal, going a little extra mile. You know, it's not just a smiley face. It's got a specific hairstyle, makes it more unique, makes it more interesting for the viewer to look at. And once you have your face finished, you've looked at it, it looks perfect. Now we're going to make the animation happen. And so for this one, it's going to be a full blink. Both eyes are going to go down and up. And so what we need to do is duplicate. So we hit that little piece of paper, and now we can see it's copied and pasted it, and it's a fully the same. But we're going to change it because we want those eyes blinking. So the eyes are actually going to get shorter, right? They're going to be smaller. Going from the top down is what I'm thinking. So I'm just going to paint that green on there. In the animation preview, you can already see the movement. That's why I really love Piskel. And so it's going to start off slow. We'll make sure we draw the top of the eye again to make sure that it's complete so that it looks right. There we go. That looks good. And we're just going to keep doing that. So I duplicate. I'm going to make it smaller. I'm going to paint over with that green to make them shorter. And so the eyes are closing slowly, like 1 pixel by 1 pixel. Duplicate. So this is the same. What the animating is a pattern. And so it's kind of nice. It's almost meditative where you get to do the same kind of steps over and over, but you see the progress. So it's satisfying as well. So we're just going to keep duplicating, making the eyes smaller until they are just basically a line. And then that's where we're going to bring them up again. And this time I think I want it coming from the bottom as well, because our eyes, you know, we have a top eyelid and a lower one. And so both of them do move. And so I want to show the movement on both. So now the eye is like totally closed. Let's do one more. Like I said before, let's make it a line instead of like no eyes. We'll just make it like a simple line. I think that'll be cool. And we're going to continue from the bottom. There you go. That's eyes closed. So that looks good. Within 5 frames, we've got full open eyes to fully closed eyes. Now I'm just going to duplicate that first one a bunch of times. So now I've duplicated it, I don't know, 10 times. So you can see the eyes are open for a while and then they blink. And the blink happens really quickly. And so I'm just turning up the frames here. You can actually mess with the frames per second, so how fast it goes. So 6 is really slow. It's too slow. 10 frames is okay. That looks pretty good. 10, 12 frames seems good. And you want to make sure you adjust this before you export it and make it an actual GIF. And the last thing we'll do before we export it is put a background. So we're going to head to layers, and I'm going to double click on layer number 1, and I'm going to type in head because this is the head layer. We're going to hit the plus sign to make a second layer. And now this one will be the background. I'm going to type that out. The thing right now that's weird is that the background is on top of the head, but we need the background in the back. So we're going to put it down 1. And so now you can see the head is on top of the background, and all the frames have changed, right? It's just a ghost of an image on these ones. We can still see the head, but we can see the checkerboard pattern that shows us that it's see-through right now or transparent. So let's choose a background color to make this face kind of stand out. And so I'm thinking about purple. I think purple and green kind of go together. The purple is the hair. But let's try it all the way black, just straight black. Use the bucket, filled it. You can see on frame number 1, it is black. There's an easy way to make all of these frames black in 1 click. And so that's if we're on that frame and we hit this sheep, that's the clone button. So clone to all frames. So that layer is going to be on every single frame. So instead of doing it 1 by 1, the background frame has now been transferred to all of them. And when we look at the preview, we look at the animation, you can see there's a black background on all of them. So that's how you know it's worked. That it's not blinking, but it's on all of them. So this is great. So now I think everything is looking done. So we're going to export. So you can save, but that's not what we want in this case. We want a finished product. So that's export. So that's a little mountain. We're going to make sure we scale this thing up. This is important because right now it's quite small. It's at 1 pixel. We want to put it up to about 18 times. So we want it 18 times bigger than it actually is. And we're going to make sure it's on GIF and loop repeatedly. And then we'll hit download when that's ready. So when all that stuff's set up, and then you always want to double check it, make sure you open your GIF before you submit this to D2L. And look at that, it's blinking, it's ready to go. And this is a simple, good level project.